凌晨3点，气温摄氏零下5度，天气冷到骨子里。瓦砾堆边的怪手摸黑作业，工作人员顶着头灯，尝试在缝隙中寻找生还奇迹。整个土耳其赈灾的搜救行动是彻夜在进行的。然后现在我们看到的现场是2栋倒塌的房屋哦。根据当地人的说法呢，他们还有许多人被埋在这些瓦砾堆底下，至少有20人以上。
This is a family building, so we have something called family building in Turkey. They build an apartment flats, and all of the family members, uncles, aunts, they have all different flats, and they are living in there. So in this building, they have 30 relatives. We took 22 dead bodies from the family, and we are still waiting for 8 of them. And I don't know about the other building. Actually, you are looking at 2 different buildings here. They were sticked, and they got like this.
路中央的安全岛成了地震灾民暂时的栖身之所。一来没有地方可去，二来他们得守着已经家不成家的建筑，怀抱一丝丝希望见到瓦砾堆下的亲人。
I went to 4 buildings with them, but since yesterday, I haven't heard anyone who went out alive. It was the coldest day for the last 6 months, and even after that, it wasn't that cold. So, earthquake and the coldest day happened in the same day, unfortunately. There is something called destiny as well. If there is a God, he or she, whatever, they wrote it like this.
“活下来的人不知道是信或是不信，因为得面对家人生死离别的伤痛。”
Berbat ötesi. Çünkü benim annem ve kız kardeşim hala orada ve hiçbir şekilde ulaşamıyorum. Hiçbir şekilde. Gitti benim canım orada. Onlar orada ölüyor, ben burada ölüyorum. Artık bitti, tükendi umudum, bitti, buradan bitti. Buradan hiçbir şekilde çıkmamalarını umut ediyorum sadece. İnşallah çıkmazlar çünkü zaten yapmıyorlar hiçbir şey. Beklentim hiç yok yani, devletten de yok. Bundan sonra da şunu söyleyebilirim, herkesin kanı kendi ellerinde, gerçekten öyle.
土叙边境强震冲击面积超过2个台湾大，就连土耳其官方都难以精准计算。土耳其总统埃尔多安形容这次的地震是国家史上最大灾难。
Dünyadaki pek çok ülkenin toprak bütünlüğünden daha geniş bir alanda yaşanan felaketin tarihteki diğer büyük depremlere göre 7 kilometre gibi yüzeye yakın bir yerde gerçekleşmesi çarpan etkisiyle yıkımı artırdı. Ardı ardına yaşanan bu depremler en güçlü atom bombalarının yüzlercesine denk büyüklükte bir enerji ortaya çıkardı.
土耳其地震频繁，本来应该经验丰富的官方救难组织，在震灾区根本泥菩萨过江，连自己都变成了灾民，导致救援工作慢了好几拍。
One of the biggest problem, there is a team called AFAD. This is the rescue team of the country, and in every city they have people who are trained and have salaries, like they are working under AFAD. But in Adıyaman, 30 AFAD members are under the collapsed buildings. So when the other AFAD members came here, there was no one to organize them.
越来越多民众抱怨，官方搜救行动毫无组织，在各个受灾城市乱成一团。东南部灾区距离首都安卡拉以及西部大城伊斯坦堡有上千公里，成了官方救援缓慢的借口。各种救灾资讯混乱，也让许多灾民丧失了被救援的黄金时机。
It took 39 hours for them to come here. This is what they told me. And then when they came here, they found out that the airport here is open and they could come here directly. So 10 hours lost just because of false information. If they were here 10 hours before, maybe we could find someone else.
地震发生的第一时间，没有土耳其官方的影子，只有来自海外的搜救队。灾民还得充当义工，自力救济。27岁的萨鲁罕亲友在灾区受困，他当翻译志工，连续好几晚都无法入睡。
I'm trying to translate what they are saying through Google Translate to give them the information. I was trying to translate it to English to Spanish to give them the information. The phones are not working because we didn't have the line then. We have more than 600,000 people in this city. We couldn't find someone who can speak Spanish. And people came from Mexico. No one could came from Istanbul. I'm sure there are thousands of Spanish translators. These two people are my colleagues and my best friends.
Yeah.
Most of the time we live together. And this is Ömer. I identified the body.
一连串的措施让亲友生还的机会几乎变得不可能。
I don't even have any energy to cry anymore. One of the person I identified was like my sister, older sister, and one of them is imagine when you are speaking English, when you say is alive. This is how I say, but now I have to say was because he is not alive anymore. So one of them was calling me my third brother. But he is not here anymore.
声音沙哑，眼泪流尽。随着时间的流逝，萨鲁罕埋在瓦砾堆下的8名亲友，最终没有活下来。而在强震中生还的灾民们，只能强打精神，撑过这段难熬的日子。